Welcome to Two Shot Tuesday. My name is Jason Riley, and with me, as always, Barry T. Nixon, a man who is in control of his environment and in control of himself and in control of all things that bring entertainment to the masses. Aren't you, Barry?
I'm in control of at least myself for the
Yeah.
time being. Those other things, I don't know. I think that's up to God and you, Jay. Thanks for making time for me again this week.
I would do it just like I've done every week for the past 6 years because we record on a Tuesday, release on a Tuesday. We are barreling down to episode 300. It is coming up sooner than you can think. But before that, we've got some pretty exciting episodes coming up, like this one right here today that we're recording. And as always, we have a format on this show, Barry. I know you've got something going on tonight. Why don't you tell our listeners and viewers what you're having as your show?
You know, Jay, I've been on a bit of a kick with having my workouts on the same day as our podcast recording. Why? Because I like to be busy. I like to have two fun things to do in an evening. It doesn't get much more fun than that. That's just a long way of saying I'm not drinking any alcohol. I'll be having some pre-workout. You can kind of see it right there. That's the Godzilla piss that I like to drink before I pump the iron. What about
Great.
yourself?
I've worked out earlier this morning, and so I'm going to reward myself for a day with what used to be our favorite, Jameson Triple Triple. It's been,
Oh, yeah.
pushed aside again by the Black Barrel, but this is what was at the local, and I'm happy to have it and still do enjoy it. So in your honor,
Awesome.
good sir, Jameson Triple Triple.
Amazing.
Cheers.
I also
Ooh.
kind of feel like that was a short love affair, the triple triple.
Yeah,
I think we were just liking the fact that we could call it. We like the name of it. You and I are very similar in that way. If something has a good name, a name that's fun to say, it suddenly rockets to the top of our favorites list.
Yeah.
And I think
You're
that's
right.
what happened with triple triple, but then it kind of went away.
It
Am I
sounded
misremembering or
No, it sounded so much more fun
yeah.
because it's kind of like when you overdo it at a Tim Hortons and you get the triple cream and triple sugar, right? It's like
Ooh,
that triple cream, triple sugar that I never really had, but it was always
I
popular
don't know
with
anyone.
construction
Yeah.
workers for some reason. And maybe
That
you can
makes sense.
vouch, will often have the triple. They're burning a lot of calories and they need the energy. So I would see a lot of those ordered ahead of me, especially in Sudbury. Sudbury is a triple town.
Oh yeah.
And you know it. You know it when you're in Sudbury. The triples are flying.
It's worth going to Sudbury just to witness that, I think.
Yeah, I'll be there. I don't have my booking yet, but at some point this summer, I'll be going back to visit mom and dad. So that'll
Right
be
on.
exciting. We're getting the trip.
Shout out to Millie.
Shout out to Millie, friend of the show. Barry, what's
Yep.
coming up? I got a pen out now just as a little prop because I want to point at you. I want to point at that shirt you're wearing. What is happening very soon, based on the time of our recording?
Jay, the biggest sporting event on planet Earth is about to be descending towards Toronto. We are one of the host cities, one of the host countries. And when people are visiting, I just want to make it clear to fans visiting, it's great to have you, but you're not at home. You're still visiting. So please, treat the area with respect.
Okay.
Because
Well
I've seen
said.
some previous World Cups where host cities get trashed. They have to
Really?
deal with a lot of bad behavior. Now, I would hope that wouldn't happen here in Toronto. I do live right beside the epicenter of where this tournament
There
is
we go.
happening. Jay, you're
Mhm.
nicely tucked away in the annex. There's no games going on anywhere near you.
I
You're
don't think
probably
so.
going to be insulated for the most part from some of this badness. However, Linda and I, right in the left ventricle of the heart of this thing. Am I complaining? No, I can't wait.
Well, why don't you get into that a little bit? Because you've already told me what is happening. You are getting the VIP treatment. I don't think we've talked about it on the show. Why don't you
Right.
explain the pass system to our audience and what you'll be going through, the privilege of going through over the next little while as you live where the athletes breathe? Please.
Yes. We haven't gotten the passes, so I'm not sure I should even raise it because I don't know
Do.
whether now it's even going to be a thing.
It will
But
be.
you think so?
I think so. Please share. I'm excited
Okay.
for you because I've reframed this for you, and that also makes me happy.
You have reframed it because I first looked at it as an imposition and I didn't think it was a great idea. But apparently, the people who live in my building and the neighboring condos next to Fort York, again, the epicenter of the fan festival, are going to be issued residence cards to keep on their person at all times in order to access your building. You will also have to have one on your vehicle if you have a vehicle to be able to come in and out. Now, when I was first told this, my knee jerk reaction was one of disgust. and shades of East Germany were crossing my mind. But then I sat down with my good friend Jay, and he reframed it. He put it into a VIP context, and that changed everything for me.
Yeah, because you get to what? When you're walking somewhere, they're going to stop you, but you
Hmm.
hold up your card, you tap it
Right?
against maybe an electronic device of some kind, and they will
Probably
say,
just the helmet of the person stopping me, but we'll see.
yeah, they will say, right this way, Mr. Nixon. They might not say your name, but right this
No,
way, sir. And you will be allowed to go where other people have no access. You are
good.
going beyond the best access because you get to go home. As I said, you live where the athletes, even the athletes themselves, are only able to come and go. You'll be there 24/7 if you so choose.
And I so choose because it is my domicile. I have no other place to rest my weary head, Jay. But whatever. That's part of it. It's gonna be fun. You've
It
reframed
will
it
be.
for me. We are going to be expecting, I think, like another 500,000 to 1 million visitors from around the world during the 6 matches that Toronto is hosting. And it's going to be a month long, Jay. Even after the matches are not being played here any longer, the fan fest and all of the hoopla, if you'll pardon the expression, will continue all the way to the World Cup final. So it's about a month, 5 weeks.
Do we have any? There's no final matches here. Are we like a
No,
qualification round? Are we split amongst different rounds? How does that
yes.
work in Toronto?
We will be we will be in the round of 32. So there's more teams in this World Cup than ever before. So there's 48 teams to begin with. We get
Okay.
the group stage matches here, some of them, and then there will be a round of 32 match, at least one at BMO. Beyond that, I don't think so. I think all the big ones, the knockout stages are going to be happening in the United States and Mexico.
But so it's
So
like 32, 16, 8, 4, 2, bang. Then
you
that's
got
it.
it.
A winner.
You
I can
got
do
it.
math. It's
Yeah, you
soccer's
can.
mostly about math. I played soccer as a
Truly.
child, by the way. So I'm not new to the
I
sport. I
believe
have
you.
played soccer. Millie would
Yep.
vouch for you. My strategy was to run up the side of the field and run back the side of the field, rarely touching the ball. There was
That's
just
a good strategy.
yeah, it's something that I didn't do. I wasn't excited about.
Yeah.
I found it hard to manage the ball. I was really not much of an athlete, so I would just charge up to the front. I'd let somebody else get it. They would kick it back, and I would go back. Here's something I don't know, and maybe you know this and can explain this to me and our listeners and viewers.
Sure.
I don't understand how offsides works. Hockey is very simple. How does soccer or football offsides work, Barry? Please
It's
let us know.
basically the same. It's just a different
Hmm.
size pitch,
What
different
does that
size
mean?
playing field. So if you do not have the ball, you cannot have somebody ahead of you who doesn't have it. It's the same principle. It's just because the field is so much larger, they call it at a different place on the field,
But
which
there's no
makes people
line.
go,
Like there's no blue line.
there's a line up here and there's a
Right.
line. That's what I'm saying. But once you watch
It's up
enough
here.
games, you kind of get to know where it is. And often it's at the discretion of the official.
It is. Okay. Kind of like how the
Yeah.
clock never stops. It just
It never
keeps
stops.
going and then it goes
And
into
they add
overtime
time.
and it just goes and they
Correct.
add time.
Yeah.
I find that to
Yeah.
be a very elegant way of playing. Things just keep
Well,
going.
that's why they call it the beautiful game.
Do they call it that?
Yeah.
Who does? Everybody? Is that a thing?
Everyone but
Everyone but
you,
me. Okay.
Jay. Everyone
That's
but you.
great. I
It's
love
called the
that.
beautiful game. Yeah, because
Well,
of that. And they do add time. They call it stoppage time, just so you know,
okay.
for things like injuries, because we also know that soccer players are tremendous actors. A lot of
Totally.
time they're
I
writhing
love
on the floor like they've been shot. And so they might lie there for a while, maybe a minute and a half, maybe longer. And so the officials add that stoppage time. But again, they can also end the game when they see fit. Sometimes
what?
stoppage time is plus 6 minutes. Maybe they get to, and then they'll add 3 more minutes. But then they might decide, no, that's enough. I've seen it. It's really arbitrary. It's really weird. Unless I'm not fully understanding, which is completely possible. But the matches that I've been to and watched on TV, the officials have all the power.
That is incredible. And also that it's called stoppage time, but that nothing actually stops. That's also interesting.
Well, I guess, yeah, I guess it stops when someone is writhing on the ground. Everything stops for a period of time. Not the
But
clock, but the
that's
action.
it. Everything stops but the clock. That's interesting. It's kind of
Correct.
like life. Things will stop, but the
Yeah,
clock never stops.
it never does.
You try and keep up with the clock as best you can. It will tick away. It is a monotonous monster. But anyway, enough of that. I think that leads us into our second shot.
I
I
was
want
just
to,
reaching for it. Perfect
yeah,
timing, Jay.
you've got, of course, the same, your Godzilla piss, right?
Yep. Oh, yeah. It's
All
nice and
right.
hot and frothy,
And
just the way I like it.
I've got triple triple, and I want to raise a glass, Barry, to your VIP experience. You are going to
Thank you.
go where few people in the city are. There may be a lot of people in your condo area, but
Uh-huh.
comparatively to the rest of us in the city, and in fact, the nation and the world, we won't have that kind of access that you'll have. And you get to flash a card and go where those of us cannot. Places that I hope you'll be reporting back to our audience on as we go through this World Cup.
The only place is my own home. I'll be thrilled to have access to my own home, Jay.
I'm
Here's to
excited
you.
for you, buddy. Cheers.
Mm.
This is harsh stuff.
Ooh. So yeah, so that's the Fan Fest. But there is one other thing I think I did
Mhm.
mention that I will be attending a World Cup match, which is
Tell us more.
insane. It's
Yeah, tell us
crazy.
more.
It's Germany versus Ivory Coast at BMO Field on June 20th, Saturday afternoon, 4 o'clock kickoff, and they open the gates at noon. Here's a funny thing. They serve, it's called a walk up. Whenever you like, whatever the time is before the event, those hours before that it's called the walk up. Sometimes it's a 2 hour walk up. In this case, it's a 4 hour walk up. The game doesn't start till 4, but they open BMO Field at noon. Why do they do that? To serve alcohol. Why? Because halftime is last call. This is very European, very kind of draconian. They want people to get completely blasted in advance of the match. And then slowly, I guess the thought is you sober up as the game wears on. And by the end of it, you're good to drive home because you haven't drank in 45 minutes. You know what I mean? It's wild. Anyway, we're going to experience this live at BMO, Germany and Ivory Coast, me and my friend Brad and his son Peyton. And yeah, it's fantastic. We're 8 rows from the pitch, from the field.
That's
8
good.
rows.
Okay.
So that's very good. So we're
Okay,
like
good.
like it's as close as you could probably want to be. And we're like
Right.
just high enough you can see all the
Yeah.
action,
You don't want to
but
be
you're
7.
also
7 you're in with, it's like a
7 would
mosh
have been
pit.
great.
8
7
is
would have been
better. You're
amazing.
higher than 7, which is nice. You can see over
It
the
is.
7s.
It is.
I
So
like
anyway,
that for you.
amazing
I like this
seats.
for you.
It's going to be great.
Sunny side, like BMO's got that side that the sun blasts on you if it's in the afternoon, or the shady side. What side
We're
will
on
you
the
be on?
shady side.
That is beautiful. I've been in the sunny side for some CFL games, and you just,
Oof.
on a really hot day, you just can't be there. Like you have to be, we would go to one of the bar areas, but I have a feeling
Smart.
it's much busier at World Cup than during a CFL game.
I would assume, but we don't know. Like this is a first. This has
So
never
you
been in
go
this country
there,
before.
you go there at noon, you're in your seats, you're drinking in your seats, nothing's going on,
Mhm.
and then stuff
Correct.
happens, and that's when the bar closes. That's great.
Well, they don't apparently they're not like if they stick with the European rules, like again, this
Why
was
do
one
that?
person that I spoke
Yeah.
with when Brad and I went to a TFC match about a month ago at the time of this recording, and we were
Mhm.
asking questions about what can we expect for the World Cup. We're coming on for the Germany match. What can we expect? That's when we were told it's a 4 hour walk up. Last call is going to be halftime. And during the match, I think the only service you're going to be able to get if you want to continue is like the guy coming up and down the aisle. But the bars on the concourse are not going to be serving during play. It's very European. This is what they do in
Weird.
England, apparently.
But
Yeah, it is
why?
weird. It's because people just get too out of control. But I'm thinking like, but you're giving them 4 hours of runway to get out of control
Yeah,
before the game. So what are we doing here? Like,
doesn't make sense. I would
I know
think,
it doesn't.
and plus the fact that we are now, granted, there's going to be a lot of visitors coming in, but there's
For
going to be a
sure.
ton of people from the city who are used to going to sporting events, and a ton of people in North America that are used to going to sporting events and consuming alcohol the North American sporting event way, which is
Yes.
pacing themselves or not during the course of the regular game. So why all of
Yeah.
a sudden shift people? Now you're like, I can see you doing the math, doing the calculation, going, how much do I need to get in? How many do
All
I have
these
to take?
equations
Yeah,
are
should I take
circling.
5 to my seat? Because now
You
people are going to be
can't.
paranoid that, wait, you can't even take 5 to your seat?
You're allowed 2 at a time, Jay. That hasn't changed.
See, and then people are going to
2
go to
at a
their
time.
seat and then go back. I think that's going to be not the best thing. I'm not saying don't do it. And I want to hear from you exactly how this went. This is
Oh, for
June
sure.
20th. You're going to be there at noon. Like,
Yep.
it's almost better because you're so close. You could just be at your place, just drinking for free and then go. But I know you want the experience of it, which is,
That's the
that's
thing.
it.
And it's not just me, it's Brad and his son. But they are both
Yeah.
of German heritage. So for them to see the German national team, this is like life changing. This is like the exploding head emoji times a million. Like so,
Right.
and his son doesn't even know it's happening. It's a
And
big
you're
surprise. So
nice. And you're a huge Ivory Coast fan, so I know that's
Enormous.
where is
Yeah.
the Ivory Coast? What is
Born
that?
and raised, as you know.
Yeah.
It's somewhere in Africa, around the Horn of Africa, I
Nice.
believe. It's a coastal country, I believe.
Okay.
It's a
Now,
former French colony. I do know that.
exciting. Now, before we
Yeah,
go, I want you to tell, you were just telling me before we got on, and I said save it for the show, something about this jersey you're wearing now and being catcalled. What happened?
it wasn't so much that. I wore it to the office, and I'm intending. I have a bunch of England shirts. I'm going to be wearing a different one all week because we are now like at the time of this recording, about a week and a bit away from kickoff from the tournament. And one of my Irish colleagues, by the way, Ireland did not qualify for the World Cup, so this is maybe why she was a
Sadly.
little perturbed. But
Okay.
not didn't take offense, but was wondering and questioning my fashion choices when she saw my England shirt. So, of course, we know there's a lot of bad blood between Irish and English hundreds of years ago, but I thought we were past it. Clearly, there was somebody perhaps who's not past it, and that is her decision.
What was said exactly?
Nothing really, like nothing like, "Oh, how dare you," or, you baby killer or colonial, whatever. She's very much like a left-leaning person, so I think she was thinking more about what has England done to the world is kind of what she said to me, and I was like, "I thought we were talking about soccer. We're not talking about politics here," but some people can't separate the 2. I, thankfully, am a little more evolved, and I can easily separate those 2 things,
Yeah. And we're better for it as a
so
species.
I like to think so, but
Barry,
anyway.
I hope you will continue to be our person on the ground as we go through the World
Your
Cup.
ambassador.
This is a huge event for us. Only you have got 24/7 access to the grounds, and you'll be living there embedded with the athletes. And so I expect
Oh, yeah.
the biggest scoops, the stuff people don't know about, will be coming to Two
Uh-huh.
Shot Tuesday to get the real story of the World Cup.
Okay.
So I
That sounds
invite
good.
viewers, listeners, check us out on YouTube as we go through World Cup Fever, where Barry takes us through. I think we dedicate at least a portion of every show to touching on World Cup news as only you can see it. And Barry, thank you for giving us this huge preview. I know this ended up being a huge episode on you and on the World Cup, but I
Yep.
am richer for it, and so are our viewers and listeners. And speaking of which, we will see you again next week for another exciting episode of Two Shot Tuesday. World Cup fever has caught Barry T. Nixon and caught me in its wake, and we hope you'll all come along for the ride.
See you next week, Jay.
Thank you for listening to Two Shot Tuesday. The show is produced by Barry and I and edited by me. If you have yet to rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts, please take a second to do so now. It helps us grow, and it helps new audiences to find the show. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Two Shot Tuesday, and on Twitter at Two Shot Tuesday Podcast. Stop by, give us a follow, leave us a comment, and share your favorite episodes. If you have a question you'd like featured on the show, you can send us a text at 647-486-4848. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.